best parts about the fall season is the food. It's pumpkin season, it's soup season. It is just divine. I love the food in fall. I love the flavors of fall. So I took a couple of hours, yes, hours, and I scrolled through TikTok and Pinterest and YouTube videos and found some really delicious recipes that I wanted to share with you guys today. I figured we could make them together. I wanted to hit the 3 pillars of the autumn cuisine, which to me are soup, pumpkin, and apple. So we're going to have a recipe for each of those. We're gonna make a really hearty, delicious soup. We're gonna make some healthier pumpkin donuts, and we're also gonna make an apple crisp. And I'm so incredibly excited to see how these all come out. And I wanted to try and keep them on the healthier side just by using better ingredients and cooking with vegetables that are in season. Let me know in the comments if you decide to try one out as well and what your favorite recipe ends up being. Without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into the very first dish. The very first recipe we're going to make is a fall soup. So I found this one on TikTok, but she says that this is her favorite fall soup and it has protein in there and lots of veggies. I just love soup season. It is one of my absolute favorites. So this one really caught my eye. But I'll go ahead and show you the ingredients that we will need. So here's everything we're going to need for the soup. So we just have an onion, a can of coconut milk, some chicken broth, a butternut squash, which, fun fact, this is my first ever butternut squash purchased. I've had squash flavored things and squash things, but never an actual squash I've had to cut. Some organic ground turkey, celery, carrots, and some kale. Let's go ahead, let's get all these veggies cut, washed, and chopped. Onions are not my favorite to cut. I always start crying whenever I cut these. It's insane how sensitive my eyes are. Does anyone else have that problem, or is that just me? Because it happens literally every time. And I'm hoping today is a lucky day that it does not happen, but we'll see. All the veggies are washed, cut, and ready to go. This is my very first time ever cutting a butternut squash, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't. It was a little different than what I thought. Came out pretty good, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and get our pot and get these veggies cooking so we can get our soup going. We're gonna go ahead and turn the burner probably on like 4-ish, I think. And then we're gonna go ahead and preheat our oven to 350 for the pumpkin donuts. Is it just me, or whenever you use like a big pot like this, you feel like a witch brewing a potion or something? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I love using this big pot so much. I'm gonna spray some avocado oil in here. I used to use olive oil all the time, but I just feel like, I don't know, I like avocado better, and it has a higher smoke point than olive oil, so I love the one from Trader Joe's. It's one of my favorites. veggies are golden brown, it's time to move on to the next step, which is adding the turkey. So what I really love about soups is that everything is in one pot, which is so nice. So let's go ahead and get our turkey added so that that can start getting sauteed. Our veggies are good. The turkey is just about done pretty much. So the next thing that she did was added Italian seasoning. I love Italian seasoning. It definitely gives me that autumnal taste because it has rosemary and thyme and all of those really good herbs. She did like 2 teaspoons, but I'm just gonna shake until I feel like I don't want more because I don't know, I love this stuff. I could put this entire bottle on this, honestly. Like, I love herbs. I love that herbal taste. Okay, that'll be good for now. We'll taste test later and see if we need more. And then I'm gonna add the butternut squash. So she used like half of a butternut squash and I roughly eyeballed that measurement, so we're just gonna roll with it. And then I'm gonna let this saute for just a little bit, get the squash a little tender, and then we're gonna add in our broth and our coconut milk. The aromas right now in our apartment are just fabulous. It smells so good. I do think that I'm still going to add a little bit more of the Italian seasoning just because, like I said, I just love that herbal flavor so much. So good, and they're good for you. There's so many health benefits to herbs. And the last step is to add in some kale. I tested the butternut squash and it's nice and tender, so we're just gonna add in a couple handfuls of kale. I'm probably gonna do about half the bag. I feel like that's a good amount. And then I'm just gonna add some salt and of course some pepper. I told you, this feels like a witch's cauldron to me. I feel like I'm brewing up some kind of potion, but like a good witch. Like I'm brewing up like a healing potion or something, because the ingredients in this are really good. You know, veggies, lean ground turkey, and really good chicken broth. So yeah, I think half a bag of kale is the way to go. She didn't give particular measurements. She just kind of like threw a bunch in the pot. So I think about half a bag is good. I'm gonna let this simmer for just a little bit just to soften the kale, because it is easier for your body to digest kale whenever it is cooked. And make sure you keep it low just so that we don't boil out all of the broth and the coconut milk, and then we just end up with a bowl of veggies instead of a really delicious soup. Here is the finished product. It looks delicious. It has some color and it just looks cozy. It smells amazing. So let's give it a taste test and see if it tastes as good as it looks. Okay, here we go. That is so good. The squash gives it a really good autumnal flavor, and then mixed with the herbs and the earthiness of the celery. Oh my gosh. This is so good. It literally makes me want to just go curl up and watch Gilmore Girls on a cold fall night. If you're looking for a really good fall soup, I definitely recommend this one. And if you're vegan or vegetarian, you could totally replace the turkey with beans or just leave that out. You could do vegetable stock instead of chicken stock. You could really just modify it to what you like, but this is really good. It has lots of protein in there and it'll keep you full. Truly, if you paired this with some breadsticks, a cozy blanket, and a Gilmore Girls marathon, I think that would be the most ideal autumn night. Definitely recommend this recipe, and shout out to her for creating it because it is so good. Now that our soup is all done, it's time to move on to the pumpkin donuts. So again, you can substitute a few of these ingredients to however you like. If you're vegan, gluten-free, you can substitute certain ingredients to fit your dietary needs. needs. But we're gonna go ahead and get our ingredients mixed. We're gonna do our wet and dry ingredients, and our oven is already preheated from earlier, so that's really good. We don't have to wait. So let's go ahead and get our donuts going because some pumpkin donuts sound amazing, and we're gonna make a homemade maple vanilla frosting. And as far as the recipe for these pumpkin donuts, I found them actually on TikTok, and then she linked the recipe that's on her Instagram. So I will leave her handle here on the screen, but I took a screenshot. So we are going to go ahead, gather our ingredients, and get this all mixed together. And again, you could totally modify these ingredients to how you like, and also if you don't have a donut tray, you could totally make these into muffins or even just like a cake if you wanted to. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. So let's go ahead and let's get going because I'm excited to give these a try. So in her recipe, she used almond flour, but I did not have almond flour. So we're just gonna use this all-purpose flour that I have, but I'm gonna use the same amount and that should still do the trick, but you could totally use whatever flour that you want. And we're just gonna need 1 cup of this. Her recipe also called for 1 cup of oat flour, but I do not have oat flour, so I'm gonna just make some by grinding up some oats in my NutriBullet. That's a little tip: if you don't have oat flour and you do have some old-fashioned rolled oats, just grind up some of those and you'll have your own oat flour. So I actually ended up adding way more pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon than what the recipe called for, and vanilla extract, because I don't know, I just really want it to taste pumpkin-y. I want these donuts to explode pumpkin flavor in my mouth. I don't want them to just be like, you know, barely tasting like pumpkin. I want it very strong. So that's something I would say is if you like a strong pumpkin flavor, which I'm assuming you do if you're wanting to make these, then I would just add a little more pumpkin pie spice. Life's too short not to just douse pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon and vanilla extract into your donuts. This is looking good. Smells so good. It smells very pumpkin-y, which is really good. So next is going to be putting this into the donut tray. If you don't have a donut tray, you can make this as a cake. I'm sure it would work just as well, or as muffins, but luckily I do have a donut tray. I found it at Michael's like a couple years ago. I know they have a few on Amazon too. So let's get that transferred. I don't have, this bowl doesn't have a spigot, so I think I'm gonna make like my own piping bag with our Ziploc bags. So that'll be a little trick if you have a donut tray, just to make it a little bit easier to pour the batter into the little rings, because it can be tricky. It can be a little stressful. So let's get our batter in our pan because my mouth is watering smelling this right now. So to make this easier, I have this Ziploc gallon bag, and I get the ones that can stand up. It should say on the box whether they can or not, and it just makes it so much easier, especially if you're just a one-man army. So we're gonna get this flat. Might be a little messy, but that's okay. be an annoying thing, but I promise it will make it so much easier getting to the donut tin, because I have tried to make donuts before with it and I did not have like a tedious way of putting it into the pan, and it was like overflowing everywhere and it was just a mess. I swear this may be a little annoying, but you will be glad that you did it. So you're basically just going to take the batter, push it into one corner, and then kind of twist it. It looks like an icing piping bag at this point. And then you're just gonna snip this little corner here whenever you're ready to start with scissors. I wouldn't do it too much so it doesn't come out too crazy fast, but this is such an easy way to make donuts. I have a little bit extra and I cannot fit any more, oops, in that donut tray. So I have this little pumpkin tin that I got a long time ago. So I'm just gonna empty the rest of this into this pumpkin tin. It might make one, maybe two. Like I said, I just don't have enough room in the donut tray and I don't wanna wait to make another batch. We're just gonna see if we can make some little pumpkin shaped goodies while we're at it, since we have some extra. So it made 6 donuts and then 2 of these little pumpkin treats. But we're gonna go ahead and get these baking and see how they come out. And then we need to make our vanilla maple frosting. So I just pulled these out of the oven. I did them for 12 minutes and I think that was perfect. Honestly, I probably could have gotten away with 10 just because I like the things I cook a little less done, because I feel like it still cooks up when you pull it out of the oven. But they look great. Those little pumpkin treats look great too. While those are cooling, we're gonna go ahead and make our frosting. So it's a vanilla maple frosting and we're gonna use maple syrup, cream cheese, and some yogurt. So let's get this frosting put together, and then these will hopefully be cooled down enough by then to go ahead and frost them. Here is the finished product. They look so cute. Definitely look homemade. I'm so excited to give these a try. I just topped them with some pumpkin pie spice and yeah, they look so good. Let's see how they taste. All right, here's the official taste test. They're really good. They're really dense, which I love. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, they're really good. I think they're a really good pumpkin treat, and definitely would say the pumpkin pie spice seasoning tops it perfectly. I think that that is a great option for a healthier pumpkin donut. So yeah, definitely give it a shot if that's something that you're looking for. It's not really sweet or anything like a normal donut, which obviously it's not going to be, but yeah, it's really good. If you're looking for a healthier donut option, I think it's worth a try. The next recipe is going to be an apple crisp. So I'm curious to see if we're gonna like that one better than these, but I think that these were a win. I like them a lot. I just think they could be a tad bit sweeter. So I've gathered all of the ingredients for the apple crisp. This recipe was on TikTok by a girl named Claire Nolan. I'll have her TikTok linked in the description box below. But this was her single serving apple crisp with healthier ingredients, and I'll just go ahead and show you what you'll need. So I have 2 apples because mine are a little bit smaller. She just used 1, but I'm just gonna use 2, and these are gala apples. Is that how you say it? Gala? I don't know. Those kind. And then we need either butter or coconut oil. I don't have coconut oil, but I do have this organic unsalted grass-fed butter from Trader Joe's. I used to use vegan butter, but I found that the ingredients are just so much more simple in the grass-fed, so I just have that, but you can use whatever kind of butter or coconut oil that you'd like. And then we just need a little bit of lemon juice, so I have my lemon that's already cut here that I use for tea. We need rolled oats, some maple syrup, cinnamon, and vanilla extract. So the first thing we need to do is get these apples washed and chopped up. And you'll want to preheat your oven for 350, but ours is already preheated from the Doughnuts, so luckily we don't have to wait on that. And I have an oven-safe bowl here. You could probably just use a little casserole dish if you wanted. This just might make it a little bit easier just because this recipe is single serving, but you could just make it bigger by multiplying the servings. So yeah, but I just have this to cook it in. letting it cook for about 20 minutes. I think it's gonna need just a tad bit longer, not anything crazy. She said to do it till it was golden brown, which I guess it kind of is, but I think it could be just more. So I'm gonna put it in for about another 3 minutes. I feel like that would be good because the apples are pretty soft. Yeah, apples are soft. So 3 minutes, and I think that'll give us that extra golden crisp, which I guess worst case, we could just put it in for another 3 minutes after this if we have to. But I think this will be good. Oh boy, let's see how just came out. Please be golden crisp. Please be golden crisp. And we are a little bit more golden. That worked. Sweet. So I'm going to give that just a couple minutes to cool down, and then we're gonna add some vanilla Greek yogurt as a topping. She did this in her TikTok and it looks really, really good. I just use the Oikos 000, but again, you can use any yogurt that you like. You can even do a vegan option if you want. That's the one thing I really appreciate about these 3 fall recipes, is that they're very easily modified to whatever dietary preferences that you have, which sometimes I feel like it's kind of hard to find recipes like that, because if you switch out one ingredient, it like changes everything about it. But these are not like that. I think so far everything has come out really, really good, and I'm so excited to try this apple crisp. I'm not sure I've ever had an apple crisp. I've had like, I think I've had like apple cobbler maybe, but never like a true apple crisp. So we will see how this turns out after we top it with our yogurt. This looks so incredible. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Let's give it a try and see if it tastes as good as it looks. Do a little yogurt, a little bit of everything. Oh my gosh. I went my whole life not having this? Wow. It's just so good. Wow, okay. Definitely 10 out of 10. This has probably been my favorite. Super easy to make. You can literally make like 1 serving if you're just wanting like a sweet dessert. Great alternative to a fall dessert that isn't pumpkin, because I know some people prefer apple. Definitely worth a try. If you're looking to try a certain recipe, try this one. It's easy, it doesn't take that long, and it's delicious, and it's pretty healthy. You could do ice cream instead of yogurt if you wanted to, but I think the yogurt works really well. So this one was definitely a winner. I mean, look at it, it's pretty. It's so, oh, so good. Love it. I'm gonna eat this whole thing. So that is going to wrap up our fall baking session. It's actually nighttime now, so we just baked the evening away, and it was so enjoyable. Our house smells so autumnal between the pumpkin, the cinnamon, the apples. I just love it. It's so cozy smelling, and it just smells like an oasis. Out of all 3 recipes, I'd probably say my favorite is the apple crisp, just because I love the warmth and softness of the apples mixed with the like crispiness of the oats and the cold yogurt. It's just a really great combination, and it's nice to have a little switch up from pumpkin. Don't get me wrong, I'm obsessed with pumpkin. It's still my favorite autumn flavor, but it's still nice to have a little switch up every now and again, and it's really easy to make. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and you got some ideas or inspiration for some delicious fall goodies that you can make before the autumn season ends. And if you did, please comment down below which one is your favorite and which one you decide to try. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more fall cozy content. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.